I walked away in silence after learning my wife cheated on me. We were married for 3.5 years. 1 year later, my ex-wife found me. She heard I knew about her cheating. I moved to the hills. I don't know why I write this. Maybe it will help someone. The bad time is over now. I have moved on. After 3.5 years of marriage, I found out my wife cheated in February 2018. I had a job that made me travel sometimes. I could also work from home. I was a director at a sales company. My wife had a job that paid a lot of money. Things were a bit hard because she worked more hours and I traveled for work, but we still had a very good marriage. 5 years ago, I met my wife at a party. A friend had the party. We liked each other right away when we talked. She was pretty and smart. I felt lucky to be with her. I was a bit rough, but she liked that. After a few weeks of dates, we fell in love. When we met at our homes, we would have sex fast. After 18 months of dating, we got married. We moved to a big apartment. We saved money to buy a house later. Things changed after 3 years of marriage. I still loved her, but she started to fight about small things. When I asked about her late work hours and work parties, she got mad. She said she had to work hard to do well at her job. That was her reason. She told me I had no right to ask since I traveled too. But I only went away for 3 or 4 days every 5 weeks. I told her I could travel less for work. We never solved these fights. They just went in circles. When I look back, I know I didn't see she was cheating. We had less sex, she worked late a lot. But I didn't think she was cheating. I thought she was just tired from work. It hurt my feelings when she said no to sex a lot. She had a work phone. She might have used it to cheat. But I never saw her send secret texts like in stories I read. She used our extra room as an office. She spent a lot of time there. In September 2017, Kathy started coming home from work and then going out again for work events. This went from 1 night a week to 3 or more nights a week. I don't usually get jealous. I knew other men looked at her. She worked with more male bosses than female ones, but she seemed to care about her job most. The first time I thought she might cheat was a month before I found out. She stopped at the store before coming home. She asked me to help with the food. I saw something pink under the front seat of her car. I was getting things from the back seat. It was her bra. I knew it was hers because she buys them from a certain store. Now I know the bra was a sign. When she wants sex, she takes off her bra first. I don't know why, but I felt sick when I saw it. I didn't know why her bra was under the seat. I said nothing. My heart beat so fast I felt like I would faint. When I brought the food to the kitchen, Kathy asked how I felt. She said I looked like I saw a ghost. I didn't answer her. I tried hard not to show my feelings. I did my best not to look sad or tricked. I decided to find out if she was seeing someone else. That night and the next day, I thought about signs I might have missed. The bra was the only proof I had. She works in an office downtown. We live in a big city. I decided to stop thinking about her cheating for a while. I thought I should give her more attention. I made a nice meal. I set the table with nice plates, forks, and candles. One Friday after work, I bought flowers and a nice bottle of wine. When she came home, I showed her the dinner and what I made. She came in like she always does. She said sorry, but had to go meet her work friends at a nearby place. She said she needed to shower first, but she could eat a small snack with me before leaving. I think I went quiet because I felt sick inside. I was very angry. I had enough. I threw my work phone in her car seat while she showered. I thought I could use my phone to find where she went. Then I went to the kitchen. I threw the food and flowers in the trash. After her shower, she got ready. She looked very pretty, like always. She said, "Okay, let's eat." I said, "Never mind, go out with your friends." She looked at me weird and asked if I was angry. I said, "I'm sad you never want to do things with me." She got mad. She said I had a short temper. She told me to stop acting like a child. I said, "Foolish me." I stood there thinking. I felt we should spend the evening together. She just smiled a tricky smile and left mad. I took my other phone. I started to follow my work phone when she left. She went to a bar she goes to with work friends. It was 20 minutes away. I saw her car stop there. I decided to go find her car. It was in the bar parking lot. I waited in my car across the street. I felt like a spy, but I told myself I needed to know where she was. I saw her leave the bar with a man about an hour later. He looked like a boss from her company. He grabbed her, pulled her close, and kissed her. My body felt nothing. My stomach got tight. They got in a different car together. When they drove away, I followed them. They went to a hotel 10 minutes away. I stopped on the street near the hotel. I saw them get out holding hands and go inside. I had seen enough. I felt stupid. I hit the steering wheel with my hand. That was it. My mind went blank. I don't know if I felt like I was outside my body or just passed out. When I felt better, I wanted a drink. My life started a new way I never expected. I just drove out of town. I kept thinking about what I saw. I cried because I was angry, though I don't like to admit it. I found a nice small bar about 30 miles away. I went in. I sat at the bar and ordered a drink. The woman bartender said I looked like someone had hurt me badly. I guess I looked very bad. I smiled a little and said, "You could say that." A man sat next to me and started talking. I didn't want to talk, but something about him made me feel calm. We talked, and soon I told him about my wife cheating. I said I just wanted to get away from her and forget her. He said, "You're not alone, buddy." He looked at me and patted my back. That happened to me a few years ago. I think these things happen for a reason. Your life can go good or bad now. I promise you, it's all up to you now. His words for some reason woke me up from my sadness. I knew I was in pain, but I've always been able to think clearly. He was right. We told each other our names. His name was Rye. I liked how real and down-to-earth he was. He was more of a country guy. He asked, "Are you going to move out?" I guess I hadn't thought that far ahead. I wanted to run away, not fight. I knew I didn't want to be near my wife anymore. Rye said, "I have an idea. I feel bad for you. When you're ready, I have a trailer on my land. It needs some work and isn't great. Why don't you come see if you could live there for a while? I'll give you a good price on it. You could park it on a nice piece of land I own. It would help me if you could watch it for me. It might help you get away from your situation. Just a thought." I thought about his idea. The bartender who was listening said, "Honey, if I could have left my crazy ex-husband years ago, I would have loved to live in his trailer or anywhere just to feel better." Maybe this was what I needed. But I felt like I was in a strange dream. I said to Rye, "Yes, I'll think about it and maybe come see it." After a while, we left. We planned to meet at his house in a few days. I started to feel like I had a new way to see things. I had a chance to escape the terrible heartbreak and nightmare. I knew one thing for sure. I never wanted to be with my wife again. I think cheating is awful. It's the one thing I always said I would never accept. I sat on the couch when I got home that night. Kathy came out and asked where I had been. I turned to her and asked, "Where have you been?" She said, "You know I went to get drinks." I asked her directly, "Are you cheating on me?" She looked surprised but quickly said no. She asked why I would ask that. I told her I heard she might be seeing someone from work. She asked, "Who told me that?" I said, "Someone I know," but didn't say the name. She said I was being silly. She said I was drunk and crazy. She asked where I had been. I said, "We went to a bar for drinks with friends." She wanted to ask more, but didn't. She went to our bedroom and went to bed. Now I knew she had been lying to me for months. I decided to sleep on the couch. I couldn't sleep at all. I kept seeing her in bed with that man. I felt bad for myself. I felt disgusted and hurt. But then I thought about Rye's trailer. The thought made me happy. It was like a sign. Something must be wrong with me. When I felt pain, I wanted to run away, not fight. We didn't talk much the next morning. We went through the weekend like nothing happened. I planned to meet Rye a few days later. When I got there, I saw Rye had a nice ranch. The trailer was actually pretty good. It was about 26 feet long and had furniture inside. It reminded me of a fun trip I took with friends in college. I'd offered Ray money for the trailer. To be honest, he almost didn't take it. He gave me directions to his ranch land. I drove to see it. There were paths for hiking and biking nearby. The area was pretty, with many trees and plants. Rye had a small cabin on a hill above the land. The trailer could get power and water there. It was near the bottom of some mountains. Ray promised to set up the trailer for me and move it to the spot. For the next few weeks, I tried to get Kathy to tell the truth, but she just made me doubt myself. I warned her that if I found out she was cheating, it would be the end. This just made her deny it more. She got angry and said no when I asked. The way she denied it was so bad I almost laughed. I was mad at myself for not taking pictures of them together. I had no real proof she cheated. After all this pain, I decided to leave the marriage. I didn't tell Kathy how I felt. I just made plans. When she was at work, I started to move my things out of our apartment. I took them to the trailer. At least I felt like I was doing something. I saw Kathy change during this time. She was nicer to me, but I thought it was too late. I needed a break too. She kept going to work events after work. One night, I got ready to go out too, just as she was leaving. She looked at me and asked where I was going. I just said, meeting some friends. You wouldn't like all the work talk. You don't know them. She started to ask more questions, but I cut her off. She used to say the same thing to me when I asked to go to her work events. She said, okay, have a good time, looking a bit hurt. I said, I definitely will. I made new friends while working on the trailer and hanging out with Rai at the bar. I felt better after spending time with Ray's nice family and friends. I also decided to drink less. I didn't want to have bad habits. I knew it would be easy to feel sorry for myself, but I knew better than to do that. Kathy told me she would travel for work the next week. She said the bosses and some department heads were going. I asked who was going. I looked at her and added, I hope you have a great time with your boyfriend. I wished I hadn't said that right away. It started a big fight. But Rai had told me it didn't really matter. Now I wish I knew more about the man she cheated with. Rai said, it doesn't matter who the other guy is. The fact that she chose to cheat on you is what matters. She ruined the marriage, whether she says so or not. Facts are facts. Rai should write a book for people who were cheated on. When Kathy was away for work, I had the perfect chance to move out completely. I took all my valuable things. This included clothes, laptops, and work equipment. I didn't take anything we shared or furniture. I left a note before I left. At first it was long, but I made it short. On the kitchen table, I left a note that said, I hope it was worth it. I put my wedding ring on top of the note. When I left, I felt like a big weight was gone. I was free. The hurt would take time to heal. I would have things to deal with, but I had started. I needed time for myself. I needed to get away from her fast and quietly. I wasn't proud that I didn't make her tell the truth. I didn't yell or scream. She didn't deserve that, in my opinion. She threw away everything we had. This included our plans for the future. Our dreams of a home and family were gone. Now it was all over. There was no going back. I owed her nothing. She could deal with what happened. I didn't make plans or call a lawyer. I just wanted a new start and some clear thinking. The mountain air was just what I needed. When I got in my trailer, I started running again the next week. It felt great to be alive. While Kathy was away, she sent texts like, we just landed, and we're having a team dinner. After a few messages, she asked, where are you, and why haven't you answered me? I didn't reply. When she got home, my phone got many calls and texts. She kept trying to reach me, but I ignored her. Her mother tried to call me after the first day, but I didn't answer. She didn't try to call my father. We aren't close, and he's the only family I have. After a week of me ignoring her, her messages got more urgent. One text said, what is this? And we need to talk. She said, I don't know what you think you know, but nothing is happening. I'm not having an affair. After a week of me not answering, she finally texted, I'm sorry things got out of hand. It doesn't matter that I was with someone from work. You were away a lot while I was busy with work. I just made a mistake. I planned to end it. A mistake? I had waited for her to admit it, but it only made me hate her more. Why couldn't she be honest before? I didn't want a future with this woman. Mistakes don't last for 6 to 8 months or a year. Her asking me to come back and fix the marriage became sad. I didn't answer her. Even when she stopped bothering me for a few weeks, I still didn't reply. I didn't want her to know where I lived. I didn't want her to look into my life. I didn't want this woman to ruin my safe place. Then she started sending mean texts. She said things like, you're a coward. You won't talk to me. You don't care about us. Come home so we can talk. I can visit you where you are. Paul, please, let's talk and fix things. And so on. I don't remember all the texts, but they all seemed like excuses with little real regret. I let the words go in one ear and out the other. After a while, I changed my phone number. In June 2018, Kathy emailed me. She said she got a lawyer and would file for divorce. I just said, okay, that sounds good. This led to many emails asking me to visit her and other things. She wrote that she would stop bothering me if I agreed to a simple divorce. When I agreed, I was really free. A few months after I moved out of our apartment, I never had to see her again. She seemed to care more about not seeing me than I did. Neither of us had a real end to our relationship. For a few months, I would think of her sometimes. Yes, the sadness would hit me suddenly, like when I heard a song we used to like. But after a while, I just stopped thinking about her. Update 2. Now that I'm officially divorced, things are going well. I met a wonderful girl who lives down the hill from me. I was running on the trail when I met her. We connected when I helped her fix a flat tire. She's a few years younger than me, but she's great and very cute. She calls me her mountain man and loves how I live. I'm not in a hurry to commit to someone, but I don't want to give up on women completely. I don't plan to move out of the trailer anytime soon. I like being outside. I've made my life simple. This made everything easier for me, including the sadness and my ex-wife. I know everyone deals with these situations differently. I was lucky to be in my 3rd year of marriage and not have kids yet. I think I did what was best for me. You don't have to stay with someone who cheats. If something like this happens to you, try not to think about it too much. Keep living your life and make yourself better. Things will get better. I hope everyone has the best life possible. I've changed this story about 5 times to make it easy to read. I wanted to give you an update about my ex-wife. I was worried my ex-wife was trying to find me, like I said in my earlier post. I moved 2 hours away from our old home. Last weekend, I saw her at a coffee shop I go to in the town near my home. I don't think it was an accident. Luckily, I left before she saw me. 3rd update. This past weekend, I went to town to get food. I stopped at my usual coffee shop. I was using their free internet to do some work papers. When I finished, I walked out of the coffee shop. I was going to my truck when I heard someone yell, "Paul!" I looked across the street and saw Kathy. My ex-wife was waving at me. The final moment had come. She quickly crossed the street toward me. I stood there in shock, as if waiting for a hug. She walked over and reached out her hand. I stopped her by holding up my hands with my palms out. She looked like she was in a lot of pain. Then she said, "I've been looking for you, Paul. I've wanted to see you since I heard you moved here. Can we talk?" I felt like an animal in a cage. I said, "Yes, okay, let's find a table or something. We can talk for a minute." When she asked if we could go to my house, I said no firmly. She followed me to a bench outside a small store at the end of the street. She started by saying how much I had changed. She said she liked my new look, my beard, and how fit I was. She talked a lot about how my body had changed. She wore a tank top, small white shorts, and her hair in a ponytail, just like I used to like. She was really trying to be charming. I was on high alert. She was clearly trying to be sexy. I needed to control myself to see what she wanted. She started by saying she was sorry about cheating. She said that after I left, bad things happened to her. When her boss found out about the affair, things got so bad that she quit her job. The man she cheated with, who was engaged at the time, got in trouble. They moved him to a different part of the company. She said she told his fiancé the truth after he blamed her for everything. This caused them to break up. Then she bowed her head and started to cry. I didn't say anything. I just sat there and looked around. She sat up straight and looked at me for a while. I asked, "What do you want from me?" She promised she never meant to have an affair. She said the company politics and her position drew her in. She said the man she cheated with used his charm and power to lead her astray. She said she felt she used him as much as he used her. After I accused her of cheating, she said she planned to tell the truth. She drank after work to feel less guilty because she hated herself. She said she felt so stupid, so alone, and like her heart was broken from loss. Right after I left, she ended things with the man she cheated with. She thought she had to find me to see if we could fix things. I wouldn't talk to her or contact her. She wanted a new start. She hoped we could start over, even though she knew we were divorced. I just looked at her. Then I told her what I thought. You have no right to come here and try to fix all the bad things you did. Do you think I'll forget what you did to destroy our marriage? Like I said before, we were done when you cheated.
I can't forgive you. This relationship will not start again. You killed it when you cheated on me. You ruined everything we had. How stupid do you think I am? I saw you go into a hotel with him one night. Did you know that? I noticed people were looking at me because my voice was getting loud. She grabbed my arm and started crying. After letting her cry on my shoulder for a while, I pushed her away. She looked up at me and said, "I deserve all this. I know I do." "If nothing else, will you let me take you to dinner?" she asked. "I'd rather not go," I said. "I want to talk more. I want us to be honest about everything. You need to spend more time with me than before. Paul, please, I love you so much, even though I know you might not want to hear it. Before you left me, I didn't know how much I loved you. You broke me as much as I broke you. I can't forgive myself, and I don't want to until the day I die." She started to cry uncontrollably and breathed too fast. I helped her up and gave her a hug. It seemed like the only way to calm her down. I knew then that I had broken her heart as badly as she had broken mine. We walked and found a quiet place to keep talking. When she had calmed down, I asked, "How did you find me? Did you hire a private investigator?" She thought for a moment and said, "No," with a small laugh. She explained that she ran into Stacy a few weeks ago and asked how things were going. Stacy didn't say she had seen me. Kathy made her tell her everything. I had told Stacy not to tell Kathy, so Stacy didn't want to, but Kathy kept asking. Stacy finally gave in, but all she knew was that I lived nearby and came to town on her days off. Kathy started coming here to look for me. I laughed a little when she said that, thinking, damn, Stacy can't keep her mouth shut. Kathy blushed. We decided to have dinner at a nice little place with an outdoor area. I made sure we didn't drink alcohol. I didn't want to give her a reason to be nice to me or say she was too drunk to drive home. We actually had a good talk. Then I walked her to her car. She insisted she hadn't dated anyone else since I left. She promised strongly that I was the only person she wanted. She tried hard to get me to stay longer. "No, it's still too soon for me to go down that path," I told her. She begged me to come back, but I didn't say yes. I gave her my new email address, but didn't say anything else. When she asked for my phone number, I said, "You'll just send too many texts and calls." She cried about it, but in the end, she agreed with my decision. She promised to email me about coming to town the next weekend before she left. I asked her directly, "Would you have forgiven me if I had been the one cheating?" Before she got in her car, she thought for a moment and said, "Yes, eventually, but only if we saw a marriage counselor and worked through healing with lots of talking, maybe even with a written agreement." I said, "Okay, maybe I could do that in 5 or 10 years. She replied, "I would wait if that's what it would take." Then she took both my hands, looked me in the eye and said, "Damn it, Paul, I will always love you and will do anything to prove it." Her words really surprised me. What she said continued to bother me even after she left. She had said those words so strongly, but I still couldn't imagine us getting back together. Even though I felt better about what happened, I couldn't see her as a friend right now. Maybe just a friend someday, but even that I wasn't sure about. I went home, went for a long run, drank some beer, and thought about how far I had come. Could someone please promise me she wouldn't ruin the peace I had made for myself? I didn't know I had time to think about it and get perspective, but it was all still too clear in my mind. Last update. This will probably be my last update. When I first put my story on Reddit, the people in charge kept removing it. In short, I disappeared from my ex-wife's life for more than a year before she found me. She wanted to say sorry and start over with us. If you thought I would be the typical weak man and forgive her, you would be very disappointed. She told me she loved me and was sorry about cheating in a long email last week. She offered to come stay with me for another weekend. My answer? I ignored her. I told her I had no plans to fix things with her. I'm very happy living alone. I like my private place and keeping things simple. I'm 32 and not in a hurry to change. I have my own plans for my life. I've enjoyed spending time with a few women and friends. In my email, I made it clear I didn't want to get back together. I didn't give her my phone number. I said, "I don't know or trust you anymore because you made your choice. I hope you do well. Maybe we could be friends someday, but not now." She was annoyed by my response and answered in a way that told me a lot. She said she had taken a job in a different state. Her real plan had been for me to go with her. She thought my work-from-home job would make moving easy. She wanted us to start over somewhere new. She wanted to visit me to try to convince me. She was running out of time before moving. Luckily for me, her time ran out because I had a business trip scheduled for a week. I'm glad I won't have her in my life anymore. She will soon realize her time with me is over. But I expect to get a few more emails. She'll need to find someone else, and she might even cheat on them too. To anyone reading this, make the most of your life. Let go of the past. Give yourself the strength to move forward. Good luck to all of you.